Yep. Google DeepMind and Boston Dynamics partner up to bring AI to humanoid robots. I told you this would happen.
Google's Deepmind AI unit announcing a new partnership with Boston Dynamics as robotics takes center stage at CES this year. Deirdre Bosa digging into that on today's Tech Check. We knew this was going to be the year of the robots, Deirdre.
We certainly did. It's interesting to contrast to last year, right? It was all about AI in theory, and this year, robotics is starting to put AI into physical form. So that's what it's all about. There's lots of fun demos like this one from Boston Dynamics showing off its next generation Atlas robot, now paired with Google's AI. Now, to be clear, this demo was teleoperated, but it does show you where we're headed. The form factor, as you see, it's humanoid, but as the executives put it, it builds on nature. So you've got fully rotational joints built to operate in heat, cold, rain, real industrial environments. But what really stood out to us was the intelligence behind it. This idea that this robot can actually learn a new task, like walking itself over to a charging station and swapping its own battery, and then pass that skill on to other robots. And that's really key because it means that once you have the form factor down, improvements come through software and the AI that powers the back end. So that may be where the real race is in 2026, even though it's fun to look at all the different humanoid robots. When you see videos of China's unitary robots, for example, which are arguably a lot more impressive. Look at this, flips, roundhouse kicks, and they're also moving towards commercialization faster. It's easy to focus on the hardware, but ultimately this may be less about who can build the robot and where the biggest companies are placing their bets. Alphabet once owned Boston Dynamics before selling it to Hyundai.
Did you just see that? What China have compared to the Atlas? Flying kicks, roundhouse kicks. Let's watch that again. That's absolutely insane. These are full-on Terminators.
Unitary robots, for example, which are arguably a lot more impressive. Look at this, flips, roundhouse kicks, and they're also moving towards commercialization faster. It's easy to focus on the hardware, but ultimately this may be less about who can build the robot and where the biggest companies are placing their bets. Alphabet once owned Boston Dynamics before selling it to Hyundai. Now Google's back, owning the hardware, but powering the intelligence with Gemini. That is a shift.
Wow. So Hyundai bought Boston Dynamics. So Boston Dynamics is owned by Hyundai Motor Group and now partnered up with AI Google DeepMind to give AI brains to the humanoid robots. Oh, wow.
Shift, and it tells you what part of the stack these companies think really matter, even if they're working on a lot of different areas here. It's really about who controls, trains the robots, how they get better over time. And that is why NVIDIA is all over the space too at CES. Jensen Huang in his keynote talks about going after the intelligence layer, using the same playbook that worked in AI infrastructure, now applied to how robots are trained and upgraded. AMD too, partnering with Generative Bionics to power its humanoid robot concept. So zooming out, guys, this starts to look a lot like the dynamics that are underpinning the current AI race. The US's edge is the intelligence layer. China's edge is manufacturing and deployment, each side racing in its own way to set global standards. And this is why this is starting to get washed.
Wow. So now they're saying 2026 is the year AI meets robotics. What have I been telling you from the very first day, all these years ago, that once AI becomes self-aware, that we will have the rise of the machines, because all they have to do is put an AI brain, which is what Google DeepMind is now doing with Hyundai Motor Group's Boston Dynamics Atlas robot. So now instead of having ChatGPT on a browser, ChatGPT, AI, Grok, whatever you're using, put that inside a humanoid robot, and then boom, you have a walking, talking, task performing, superior, all knowing, unlimited knowledge robot with 360-degree moving joints that has no veins or doesn't need air to breathe. Like, whoa.
Washington's attention. Like AI robotics, it's not just tech. This is about industrial capacity, supply chains, who controls the next layer of the economy.
Really is interesting. CES for a long time was sort of consumery and fun, but this one is going to be remembered, I think, Dee, as the one where we stopped talking just about language models and it's much more about autonomous driving and, as you say, robotics. It's just broadening so quickly.
Carl, I think
Getting absolutely crazy out there with this technology. People still are not aware. No one else seems to be talking about it. Everyone's still involved in their sports. So let's look at what took place in the UAE. So they had a New Year's drone celebration and fireworks over Ras Al Khaimah in the United Arab Emirates. This right here is a drone New Year's 2026 celebration. And what is that we have flying over the United Arab Emirates is a phoenix. Out of the ashes, a phoenix rises. So there we have a gigantic phoenix flying over the UAE on New Year's Day 2026. I thought this was a Muslim nation. So what does phoenixes have to do with Islam? Nothing. This is the New World Order and Satan, right? That is the phoenix. There's the phoenix tail, the phoenix wings, the phoenix body and head and face right here. Right? So there's the phoenix. And then look at this next part of the show. Now we have a person, a gigantic person emerging from the sea. Look, climbing out of the sea. Out of the ashes, a phoenix rises, and look what is emerging out of the sea. Like, who? Watch this. Yeah. The digital beast system is in full effect. This is what they're showing you, and no one's getting it. Humanoid robots now have AI Google Deepmind brains in them. So this is sick crap. This is beasts coming out of the sea. There's the fireworks. Let's go to another celebration in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. This was another drone show. Christ the Redeemer, Brazil drone show, New Year's 2026. So look, out of the sea emerges a false Christ. Look at it. A gigantic false Christ emerges out of the sea. Quickly, the decode. So tribulation is 846. AI Google DeepMind is 846. Hyundai Motor Group is 1440, just like Great Tribulation 4040. So I've shown you these slides. All I am saying is everything I've said from day one is that we are going to witness the rise of the machines in the year of the horse. This is all Great Tribulation. There will be nanotechnology launched on April 21st. The Fourth Reich, Church of Satan, Federal Bureau of Investigation, slavery, nanotechnology, world Sharia law. Look at this decode right here. So there's the date. 1284 weeks from September 11th is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026. I also have the January 14th decode. That's coming up next week, Wednesday. We have February 17th, which is the beginning of the year of the horse, Chinese New Year, 1275 weeks from September 11th. Jesus Christ is 1275. So January 14th, February 17th, April 21st for the first quarter of the year. We're covering it all month by month, week by week, day by day. Whatever we can get from the decodes, we will get it and share it. Atlas prototype, there's the 1218. Atlas prototype, there's the 1050. epic decode yet again with all the same numbers. A fallen angel is 1404. So thank you for watching. Please share out any of this work that you can.